What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Movie Talks, the only podcast you need for all your movie news, movie reviews, and more. So we have episode 67. We were meant to do
Huge.
the Boy and the Heron for you, but unfortunately, we were unable
Yep.
to see it. So we'll have to put that on our list for next week. So we've replaced that with Leave the World Behind, kind of like how we're
Yep.
leaving the Boy and the Heron behind. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. It's
Yeah,
kind of,
that's not bad. That's
it's
out of
no,
of
no,
your
no,
spectrum, that's in the top half.
no, no, don't like it. Also, I don't know why, but I look smaller. I need to adjust my chair height because my camera decided to zoom completely out. So I don't know
Except
what's
you're in a
going on.
singlet, so you look bigger as well.
Rah, yeah, I do.
There it is.
Yeah,
Had to fill his ego a little
that's
bit.
right. So I don't know what's going on there. So you might see me moving around. I'm like real boxed in with the green screen here if you're watching it. Like the table is properly touching my stomach as I'm sitting in my chair. Like I
I look
can't.
huge. My face looks so big next to your face. I mean, always my head looks big next to your head, but like especially so today.
I look like Oompa Loompa, but less orange at this present moment. It's kind of a tornado of just mishaps, kind of like the Monsternado that is coming. And we've also got a skillful a little man called the Artful Dodger.
Yep. Good old Jack
So
Dawkins.
yeah, so
I'm a wee bit sick as well, so if I cough and sneeze and blow my nose, I apologize.
that's why your head looks so big.
That's the yeah. My sinuses are just filled. My head's so big.
It's just sick. But
fully,
did you say bully or fully?
fully sick. Get it?
Oh, I thought you were like you're a bully.
You're a bully.
Random. Did you know this one might catch you by surprise, but you're a very, very esteemed person, which is Childish Gambino.
Oh hell yeah,
I can't remember his full name, whatever it is, but he is
Donald
in.
Glover.
That's the one. He is in the newest TV show called Mr. and
Mr. and Mrs.
Mrs.
Smith.
Smith. I didn't know if you knew
Hmm,
this one. I was like, the movie wasn't
I
great
did.
with was it Brad Pitt and
And Angelina Jolie.
yeah, like during their peak times.
Yeah, I hated it. I hated that movie.
It wasn't
So shit.
it wasn't good. It wasn't good.
I'm surprised
But
you didn't like it because it's just action for the sake of action the whole way through.
yeah, but it was it wasn't great. It wasn't great.
Yeah, I don't know
But
if there's anything. I'm not sure if it's just it's a spy comedy, but
it's
I
literally
don't
the
know.
same like
Oh,
description
is it?
as the movie. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
right. Seems strange.
I'm surprised he'd put his name to it. Like he doesn't put his name to
Mm,
heaps of things. So
but I wonder if he's had more to do with it than because he's a writer. I wonder if he had more to do with it than just acting.
maybe,
Or
maybe.
yeah, I hope so because he's great.
Yeah.
He's a great actor, great writer.
So who knows? Bizarre.
Co-creator and written by. Yes, he's a
Okay.
co-creator
Okay.
and one of the writers.
There
Great.
you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Look, if he's in it, I'll watch it.
yeah. We've also got Bradley Cooper and Christian Bale starring in Best of Enemies. I have no idea what that's about, but it is they're pretty good. I liked Christian Bale as Batman, and I don't mind Bradley Cooper. He's done reasonably well.
There was also a 2019 film called The Best of Enemies, but I don't think connected at all.
I don't know. Everyone's jumping on that remake
Oh my god. Listen how
bandwagon.
generic this sounds. Best of Enemies follows a CIA agent and a KGB agent who developed a bond during a waning days of the Cold War, with two men trying to convince each other to betray their country.
No,
My
okay.
god. I
Is
don't
it?
mind Christian Bale. I don't dislike Bradley Cooper either. I just think he's very hit and miss.
Oh, I hate the green screen.
You're struggling, man.
I was trying to put my chair up. But yeah, we've also got Ryan Reynolds shares fake Deadpool 3 leaks after set photos emerge. So
Okay.
I quite like his chaos. He's all over the place. He's
I
pretty
love
funny.
his relationship with Blake Lively as well.
Yeah,
Like they're a really funny couple.
yeah. Did you
Well,
see
publicly anyway.
Did you see the X-Men where the X-Men were doing a reunion on Zoom and then all of a sudden Ryan Reynolds just appears?
Oh, really?
And like Deadpool is literally just Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds. Like
Yeah,
he's just all over.
it's written for him. Yeah.
Yeah. Sean Gunn to play DC villain Maxwell Lord. I actually have no idea who that villain is. Max.
What?
Yeah. So Sean Gunn is playing the new villain Maxwell Lord. I don't know that villain in the DC universe.
I've never heard of Maxwell Lord.
No.
Oh, Maxwell, as in first name Maxwell,
Yeah.
last name Lord.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying Max Well Lord.
No. No.
I still haven't heard of it, but now I look it up, it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So who knows? We'll
Is he
see.
related to James Gunn? Are they
Maybe. It was a little
James
similar.
Gunn's directing it.
Okay. Maybe.
Sean Gunn related to James Gunn. His brother. There you
Okay.
go.
Yep. Jobs for the boys. We've also got Charlie Theron and Daniel Craig join heist thriller 2 for the money. I feel like that's just going to be average. They're just banking off Daniel Craig, his Bond.
Yeah. Legit.
I quite liked him as Bond, though. I thought he actually did really well.
Yeah, I don't mind his James Bond.
Yeah.
But I just don't care about anything else. Everything else sounds the same. I mean, James Bond all sounds the same now as well. I haven't watched the most recent 3.
That's fair. Well, we've got 2 biopics. One is Bob Marley, with a trailer is out now. And we've also got Back to Black, Amy Winehouse biopic release is confirmed for 2024.
Okay. Yep.
I reckon that'd be pretty interesting. She was an interesting individual. So
yeah, very.
I'm interested to kind of grasp a little bit more of that story.
I hope it's actually I hope they don't do how they did with Marilyn Monroe sort of thing with Blonde, how it wasn't really factual.
Yeah.
Because her life is so interesting already. I mean, so was Marilyn's, but I love Amy Winehouse. I'm keen for a biopic for sure.
Yep. Then we've also got Ryan Reynolds and Channing Tatum teaming up for the action comedy Calamity Hustle. So,
God,
that could be interesting. And Tatum is actually wearing a Gambit top. So, you remember the big rumors when X-Men were peaking, where he was going to play Gambit, the card thrower bloke?
Yeah, I know who Gambit is, but I remember these rumors.
Oh, apparently it was in the works, but hadn't started filming. It was in that pre-production stage, and he was cast as Gambit. I think he'd do pretty well as Gambit. So Gambit is kind of similar, charismatic, bit of a unit.
I don't know Gambit that well.
Yeah, I reckon he'd do it right. But yeah, they're doing an action comedy, so we'll see.
Of course they are.
Yep. And then we've got the first trailer for Godzilla X or Verse. Would you say, if it's Godzilla X Kong, would you say that's Godzilla versus Kong? Or would you say Godzilla times Kong?
Times Kong. I guess X. It's like Hunter X Hunter.
Yeah. So
Godzilla X Kong.
Yeah. The new Empire features a monster team up and a mini Kong. No, we've got the Godzilla -1. That's out. But
wasn't there recently a Godzilla and King Kong film?
I don't think so. I think this is still the one. I think it was announced, and this is the
2021 Godzilla versus Kong, 2 years ago.
Okay, well, this is X times team up. I don't know. And there's a mini
Empire.
There's a mini Kong.
Mini Kong.
Mm-hmm.
Is it still called Kong? Is it Kang?
I feel like he's Mini Kong.
Mini Kong. I want to see Godzilla -1. I've heard really good things about it.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know what's that's it. That's it for the movie.
Don't give a shit.
Ah, come on.
Warner Bros. Oh my god. It's just monsters, exactly.
We get lots of monsters.
Just fodder. Comes out the same day as the new Fallout series.
Oh, okay.
I'm very excited for.
Well, there you go. But a newest one that's out will sneak into our first picture of the ranks. We have the Artful Dodger, which is out on Hulu. I'm assuming it's a Hulu original, but also on Disney Plus for us in Australia. So I'm not that familiar with the old Artful Dodger story, but this one is set in 1850s Australia. The series follows an adult double life for Charles Dickinson, the famous Prince of Thieves Dodger, now a surgeon, but who can't shake his predilection for crime. That's a random word. I've never even seen that word ever in my lifetime.
Predilection.
Yeah, like
Predilection.
where does that come from? Who uses that in any daily life form? Like, let me know in the comments,
I
because
mean,
I call you out. I don't think anyone uses that unless
what word would you use?
struggles to not go back into his previous life. I've never heard this word. It's not a word.
It is a word.
Nope. Well, I just Googled it. A preference or special liking for something, a bias in favor of something. My predilection for Asian food is the example they're giving.
Yep. Exactly. It's his predilection for crime.
Why can't I say addiction?
It's not about an addiction. It's
Is
it's a preference, not an addiction. There's a difference for sure.
Preference for crime.
His preference.
Have you ever
Yeah,
used
but
it?
it's a.
No,
Have I? No.
have
Okay,
you
I'm
used
not
it?
going to
No.
argue about this fucking word. All right. It's just because you haven't heard it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
No.
It's the right word for the sentence. It's just
No.
a seldom used word, I suppose.
It's a wanker word.
But yes, this is, as you said, set in Australia for some reason.
It was
It's
filmed in
the story.
Sydney. I looked it up.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me.
I was like, where is this? Where is this filmed?
It is, yeah. So it follows Jack. What's his name? Jack Dawkins.
Yep.
Dodger. After for some reason, after he gets locked up, he supposedly comes to Australia.
We get
I
shipped
originally
on
assumed,
the boat.
yeah, gets shipped here, convict Australia, blah blah blah. I really liked the setting. I really like convict Australia. I think it's a really interesting like time period. Obviously, I have a bit of knowledge about it as well. I used to teach this period of Australia to Year 9 students. So I found that the setting and sort of the world of this story I found very interesting. I also really like the Artful Dodger as a character and the Oliver Twist story and stuff. So I mean, I went into this probably more excited than I should have been.
Right. These are right.
But yeah, I went into this with like, oh, this is up my alley, I guess. Because up my alley, it's colonial Australia. It's following characters I know and like from previous stories. I went into it with a bit of knowledge, I guess, and that always helps, especially with sort of timepieces like this.
So is this an extension of the original story? Like this hasn't been in any like books or novels or plays or anything? Like this is,
as far as I'm aware.
Is this like a standalone? Because I wasn't sure whether this was like they were running off source material or anything. It was kind of like,
as far as I'm aware, this is a original script, original story.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know anything about this being written elsewhere. Looking at the writing credits, there's no often when there's like based on a story, it'll say based on the writings of blah 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 blah. Doesn't say that at all in the cast and crew. So I don't think it's based on anything, obviously, besides Oliver Twist.
Yeah. Well, this for me was an interesting ride. Like it was pretty engaging majority of the time. There were some moments where I was like, we could probably move on. But this ran with obviously Dickens coming across. He ended up for some reason Dawkins.
Sorry, Dickens is the writer of Oliver Twist. Dawkins is the character. Just call him Jack.
There you go. So Jack's coming across. He is sent on the migration ship over to Australia, and for some reason, the Navy surgeon on the boat takes a liking to him, because of his quick hands and his able hands, and all of a sudden he becomes a apprentice. I'm assuming, which is back then, was it apprentice for like to become a surgeon? I don't know.
Yeah, I suppose.
I feel like it was kind of like an apprentice. I don't know.
Yeah,
Let's take it.
I'd
Yeah,
call it because you're right. Like a blacksmith would have an apprentice. Like why wouldn't a surgeon? Yeah.
yeah. But that's what I assumed. He is pretty good. He's obviously good enough that he starts to make a living of it. He's established himself. So we get told that through like some flashbacks. It's not overarching story. Old Jack gets a run in and has an unfortunate habit of gambling, which then puts the weight of the on his like story, because he gets
Yeah.
cheated out and he has to pay back a lot of money. And it's like, well, okay, I feel like he could have done something a little bit different. Like it
Yeah, I don't
was
disagree.
like that.
Especially that's his first scene. Your first interaction with the character is him losing, gambling, and having a debt of £26, which back then I guess was a shit ton.
Yeah, like I just assumed that, you've established yourself, you're a well-known surgeon. The surgeries for some reason are seen as like some massive show, like
Yeah.
they have an auditorium and people are standing up
Yep.
there and looking at it. And
Which was real. It
is
was
it?
real.
Okay.
Yep.
I didn't know if
Yep.
that
Yep.
was
Yep.
a thing. But there you go.
Definitely.
And then obviously that is a big carrot and makes a little bit of like danger for our character. Like, will he lose his hands? Won't he lose his hands? He's got to chase, which I feel like they had enough going on. Like when old mate comes back into his life, you get that little conflict of like
Fagin.
you're gonna unravel everything. He's pretty fun. Like he's a fun character, but also
Who Fagin?
yeah,
Yeah, I didn't like because in Oliver Twist, you hate Fagin. Like he is abusive and selfish and like he is such an asshole of a character. I don't like that in this. I'm made to like him, and
okay,
they make him cute and funny and old and whimsical almost. Where he's such a dirty, shitty, selfish old man, and
right,
he manipulates people and and gets whatever he wants out of the situations, and it's horrible.
yeah.
It's horrible in Oliver
Right.
Twist.
I found him quite likable in this. Like I wasn't
Yeah,
sure what their direction was and where they were actually going, whether they wanted him to be likable or not.
yeah, which I
So
didn't love, but it's good though that Jack doesn't, instantly oh, Fagin's good to see you, and I hang out again. Like he does hate him as
yeah,
well, and
yeah,
I'm glad, but
yeah.
yeah,
And then we've also got another spanner in the works, which is Lady Belle Fox. So it took me a little while to work out where I had seen her from. And this is a really, really
okay,
weird throwback. So I was like, I can't place where I've seen you. And it turns out that she is Australian. She was on the show called Mortified. It was an ABC show.
haven't seen it.
It was like the newer generation of Lizzie McGuire, pretty much.
Okay,
Yeah, so it's about Australian setting. The child's going through, I guess you could say, like middle school. It's probably like year 6 or 7 for us, and it's her like navigating through. Her friend, which is Lady Belle Fox, she is in Mortified as well. Name is Mia Mitchell. She actually plays a posh her posh friend, who's like the good-looking posh one
oh,
in
okay, sure, I
Mortified.
can see that. She does.
Yeah.
She plays the good-looking posh one in this as well.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. So she does quite a good job at it. But yeah, I was like, oh, you were in Mortified. There you go. It's just a random.
Mortified was her breakout as well. It was
Yep.
her first credited show movie.
Yep. I used
Okay.
to randomly watch it before a footy training. It was just like mindlessly putting my boots on, and it would be on. It was it was a nothing show. But
Never
yeah,
heard of it.
yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah, now.
Have
So,
now.
so
Yeah.
yeah, Lady Belle
Maya
Fox.
Mitchell. She was okay.
Yeah. Lady Bell Fox is the governor's daughter. She
Mhm.
is extremely obsessed with medicine and reads and experiments and wants to become a surgeon, and blackmails Jack into taking her on as an apprentice, I guess, if
Yep,
you will. Yeah.
pretty much.
And then you have like these three things all happening at the same time. You got Jack, who's trying to get money to pay back his debt and trying to keep his hand. You've got Lady Bell Fox that's like always at him about trying new different ways to do your like medicine and your practices that she reads from overseas journals. And
Yep.
she's ridiculously good at interpreting the knowledge from that. So good job. And then you've got old gay mentor coming back into his life, causing chaos. And it's just,
Yep.
I feel like it was one scene of this, one scene of that, and then the next scene, and then would go again. Like it was just it was a rotating.
Yes. There's definitely a loop, a story loop. And that's definitely what lost me. I didn't finish episode 3. I got maybe 10 minutes into 3. It's like, no, that's enough. It's the same. Like I wouldn't necessarily say the show is boring, because I don't think it's boring. It's just it's not fast. Nothing happens. Like the story in the middle of episode 1 and the story in the middle of episode 2. Yes, they're like doing some different things, but nothing's like progressing. Kept wanting, and every time that like Tim Minchin's character, the bad guy Darius Cracksworth, the guy who's trying to take his hands, every time he rocked up, he'd be like, "Oh, I'll give you a couple more days. Oh, I'll give you another day." Like the tension was lost every time. And as much as Lady Bell's character added, like, you know, there's a bit of back and forth between them, and obviously there's a bit of like, will they, won't they tension as well. I just found her character such like a nothing. It reminded me a lot of Bones in its like, we've got these two really smart characters, and one's a bit of a loose cannon, which is in this, you know, in Bones it's the man, but in this it's the woman.
Booth.
It's Booth, yep. And then we've got hyper intelligent, good at their job, but doesn't normally have a sidekick, but now there's a sidekick. And then there's like, oh, look at them interacting with other, you know, it's just, I feel like it was repetitive. And as much as I'm sure if I watched the whole thing, I would, you know, there'd be obviously rise and fall and whatever else. I didn't find this entertaining enough to want to watch more. And that's the problem with it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I quite enjoyed episode 1 and 2. Like I was like, this is quite good. Quite good. But then episode 3, I was like, this is the same formula happening over and over again. Like it wasn't bad, like it's executed reasonably well. There's nothing like glaringly obvious that I was like, maybe we could like, avoid that. Like it's good, but
I wouldn't say it's bad either. You're right. Like it's just not good enough. It's not good enough to want to watch more.
Well, looking at the ratings, apparently, geez, they increased pretty quickly. So episode 1 on IMDb is 7.7. Episode 2 goes into 8.8, and then all the rest are 9s, and then by 0.1 increments all the way to episode 8, which is a 9.4.
Okay. Interesting.
So it might get better. So
I'm not going to find out.
Yeah, but like I still had a reasonable time with it. It's just it wasn't, I don't know, it just lost me. I don't know what it was in that episode.
I've already recommended it to people because I was talking to someone about something the other day, brought up Artful Dodger fucking randomly, and I was like, oh, you should watch the series. Like, oh, is it good? I'm like, yeah, it's not bad. It's you know, I think if you've got previous attachment to the character, like I did, there's something there to enjoy, but it still just feels like Australian television.
I feel like it was above the Australian television side. Australian television side's not great. Like when I think of Australian television, I think Packed to the Rafters, Neighbours.
Packed to the Rafters, literally the same. Literally the first thing I think of is Packed to the Rafters.
I actually quite liked Packed to the Rafters though. Like it was okay. I didn't go out of my way.
I watched it because Mum watched it.
Yeah,
Mum watched it, therefore I had to watch it if I wanted to be in the lounge. You know.
Yeah. The only like real good Australian film that I can ever really force myself, not I don't have to force myself, but I'm like, what would I watch Australian cinema wise? And it's The Castle. I know what it's
Oh, the
about,
Castle's
The
a banger.
Castle. Like it's well, there's Cracker Jack as well. That was pretty funny. I didn't mind that one.
Yeah,
Like,
Castle outshines everything.
oh
Every time I watch
yeah.
that every few months.
Yeah, Castle's good. Went straight to the point. But what would you give the old Artful Dodger?
Yeah, look, it's tough. I started on like a 3, and as it went on, I went a little further down. So I'm gonna give it like a 2.
Okay.
I think it probably deserves more, to be honest, but I've got to put in my enjoyment factor,
Okay. Yeah.
and I wasn't I wasn't enthusiastic to watch more.
Okay.
I think maybe 2.5.
Okay.
Like it's just below. Oh, maybe it's a 3, but maybe it's not good enough for me.
Okay.
I don't know. Between a 2 and a 3 area.
Good.
Some of it's really good.
Okay.
I don't
I reckon it's
know.
a 3.
Watch
For
more.
me, it's a 3. Like
Okay.
I like the first two. Episode 3 lost me a little bit, but like I still think based off looking at those reviews as well, I feel like it's going to pick up and be reasonable. Like yeah, like I was saying, it's good. There's no glaring problems with it. It's just it lost me a little bit. So I think it's a 3.
I'll give it a 3 as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think 3 is fair because it's not a bad show. It's pretty well made. The characters are interesting. Maybe I was in the wrong mindset.
maybe.
I wanted something more exciting than what this presented to me.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right. Let's move on to something that I thought was going to be far more interesting than it was.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Monsternado. Bah, bah, bah.
Ah, Monsternado. I thought
Yeah.
we were doing the other one.
No, that's coming.
Okay, it all makes sense.
Yeah. So this one is by it wasn't Asylum Films, was it? It was something else.
No,
I can't remember who it was, but someone similar but not as good.
it might as well have been.
So
It was by Derek Miller. That's all that matters. Supposedly,
yeah,
this is his thing.
and directed by Tyler James. I don't know if that's first name and last name or but it looks hyphenated, so it looks like
Yeah, it's hyphenated. What's that about?
I don't know, maybe he doesn't have a last name or hyphenate is his middle name.
Doesn't have a first name.
That is so
Yeah, the
bizarre.
hyphen is his middle name. He's Tyler hyphen James.
Yeah. Jeez. Wow. How many movies does he have just this year? So he's got
Tyler James.
yeah.
But yeah, I looked this up too.
These are just his films this year.
Yep.
Medusa's Venom, Darker Shades of Summer, Return of Punch and Judy, Alien Invasion, The Elevator, Vikings Bloodlust, Vikings Battle Airs, Holidays at the Ranch, Sky Monsters, Snake Hotel, Christmas with the Prince, Dinosaur Prison, Hard Copy, Mary Had a Little Lamb, Freddy's Friday, Three Blind Mice, Curse of Humpty Dumpty 3, The Loch Ness Monster, Monsternado, Christmas Party. That's just this year.
Yeah, I just counted 20.
That's insane.
And somehow, some of them, like this is 2.6. I went back to review. IMDb, spoiler alert, it's a 2.6 on IMDb. Some of them aren't horribly rated, like a 6.8, a 5.8.
Oh, Alien Invasion got a 1.8.
A 1.8. Yes, this guy is like quite a up and down year. But you're right, that's 20 things in 1 year. It was a while ago that I said he's like the hardest working man in the cheap film business, but this guy's working just as hard.
This guy's bumping him out.
Yeah.
So, wow, it's Alien Invasion. Follows a group of friends who find a large egg, but little did they know that it contained an unwelcome predator. Now they must stop it from reaching civilization.
Yep.
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 Yep. So he also has 32 upcoming films.
Yeah, nuts. I mean, he's just a producer, so I mean, don't know how much he actually does, but you know,
yeah,
it's still doing a bit. He's not just doing nothing.
He's still around.
But he's not making them. He's not like
no, he's a producer,
out there with the camera,
director, writer. So who knows? But he actually directed this.
He's a director.
Yeah.
Oh, he did direct this one.
He directed this one. So this one was his
What Derek
little
Miller did.
no, Derek Miller. What was yeah, he's got a bit of a interesting list. So this one is a tornado infested with prehistoric monsters has formed in the Bermuda Triangle of all places. If you're going to pick a place that you were like, where's a tornado with monsters going to appear? Why not the Bermuda Triangle?
Bermuda Triangle.
I feel like that's going to like, how far is the Bermuda Triangle from America? Like I actually don't know. Is it
No, it's
far?
not terribly far because
Is it?
Bermuda is like between Central and North America.
I was just wondering
Well,
how long this tornado had to travel. Like it's a lot of like is it a really long way that it had to go?
no,
No, okay.
no, like Florida is the left point, the western point of the Bermuda Triangle.
Okay, there you go.
So like, it's relatively close.
I didn't know that. There you go. So and is making its way towards land. Now the city must fight to survive against these deadly creatures. This this just sounds like a dumpster fire. I
Well, yeah.
I don't know what I was expecting, but I was expecting more of this.
Really?
Like I was expecting a little
Why?
bit more. I don't know, like Sharknado or like to even laugh and have a good time. I was expecting to like have like Babezilla like laugh at it
Sure. Okay.
like
Right.
or what
So
was
you're
the
expecting less in a way. You're expecting it to be worse, therefore funnier.
I was expecting him to either be like really really poor and not care about their acting like Guns
Yep.
of Eden or to
Yep.
like but they were really really trying to deliver lines in this and it felt really weird. It just
Yeah. It's so strange. You're right. Because like one of the biggest things about this for me was that it's not completely incompetent. Like some of the cinematography is halfway decent, some of the acting is halfway decent, some of the color grading and editing is halfway decent. Like every now and then, there's a little bit of like, oh, they kind of know what they're doing. Some of the special effects, like I wrote in my review for this on Letterboxd, the only thing separating this from DC is budget. Like more budget would have meant better special effects, better sound design, better actors, better cinematography. Everything else about this is DC, Marvel to me as well, but everyone disagreed with me there.
yeah.
Like this, I don't think that this was that incompetent. When you compare this to shit like what did we see a while ago? One on the boat. I remember that was fucking called.
On the boat.
Oh man, I'm looking at my list now trying to find it, but I don't remember what it was.
Like a horror film on the boat.
Yeah, there was like a shark. Was that Jurassic Shark?
Oh, that was
Jurassic Shark
Jurassic
3.
Shark. Yeah.
Jurassic Shark
Yeah.
3. When you
And
compare this like Jurassic Shark 3, this is a masterpiece. Like there
mm,
is so much genuine talent at times. At times.
yeah.
But
Not
like it's very few and far between. And most of this is very boring and
that
I don't
was the
understand.
problem. Like Jurassic Park
Yeah.
3, like that felt
Jurassic Shark, not
yeah.
Jurassic Park 3. That was bad too, Jurassic Park 3, but Jurassic Shark we're
Yeah.
talking about.
But like but that was fun because it was
Yes.
so poorly done. Like it was just that would do. One take, move on, let's go. It's like
Yeah.
hustle town where
Yes.
this they tried, but they failed
Definitely.
miserably. So
And it's so weird because like you can't make this genre of film, this genre being intentionally ripping off other things in order to be successful. Because like you look at that Tyler James's, you mentioned the Friday Bear, whatever it's called, Freddy's Fridays,
yeah,
and Mary Had a Little Lamb, and like is intentionally ripping off shit that pre-exists. You can't make that genre of film with that being your fucking business strategy and also try to make something decent. Like, because it comes off as so strange and it points out like when there's moments of, because I wrote my review as well, like I dig some of these shots when there's moments of good shots, but the majority of this is incompetent and stupid. It really makes the incompetent and stupid like even more obvious and not
yeah.
in a funny way, like you said.
And they also have random subplots. Like it was so bizarre. So
Yeah.
I guess we can talk about the story, and I don't care if I spoil anything for you with this film because
No.
we're like presented with these three females that they're out having a drink, and then they're like, all right, it's time for a mission. And you think they're escorts, and they're off to see this man called Clive, because this is his hotel that he always goes to. There's this random like seducing scene, and then all of a sudden she's like, haha, got you. You're arrested, FBI. And then
Yeah.
they arrest him. And apparently he's like some dangerous thug that he's just
Supposedly.
he's just tied up for the majority of the film, and then gets out, and then there's a tornado coming, and everyone's like, oh no, warning, there's a tornado coming, which has all these different monsters. They Lots of things are revolving around this hotel, and this is the owner of the hotel, or the person that's locking the doors. He's so irrational, like a lot for majority of the film. He's like locked the doors
I'm
while
trying to remember him.
there was the whole scene where he was like, I've locked, I don't know if he was the concierge or if he like owned it or the manager, but they locked the doors when the warning came off that stay inside, and everyone's watching the TV. They're like, we have to get out of here. And then he's like, no, the doors are locked. And he's like, this whole big confrontation. I was like, if this person wants to leave, let him leave. What does it matter?
Let him leave.
Like, let him leave. If he wants to risk his life out there, he might have places to go. Like,
Fuck him. Yeah, places to go.
yeah, he might have family that he needs to get back to.
Yeah,
You
true.
don't
True.
know. Like, why are you forcing this guy to stay? Like, he has free choice. Let him go. Like, if it was
Yeah.
like if it was a child that wanted to go, like maybe you'd be like, no, you need to stay because you're the next
Yeah,
generation.
duty
But like,
care and all that.
yeah, but like some bloke that you don't know, just unlock
Let
the
him
doors.
go by.
See you, buddy. Like,
Yeah, true.
go get eaten by monsters. I don't care. So there was this random, like, everyone was trying to look out for everybody. But it's like, who cares? You're in a state of emergency. People want to go out in emergency. Let them go out in emergency. Then lock the door behind them. Then there's this random like monsters that they were 100% downloaded
Yeah.
from their free textures.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
So
all of them. And like that's the perfect thing about this is like it's Monsternado. Anything works. Anything is considered a monster. And the monsters are like there's these alien fucking like bug looking things, and there's like a tentacle monster. It's a giant shark like breaks through a fucking wall. It's like a T-Rex. They're all monsters, I guess.
There's all sorts of things, and there's just deadly creatures running around. They look pretty poor majority of the time. Do you know what it reminded me of?
We've seen worse.
It reminded me of Birdemic.
At times.
Yeah.
At times. At honestly though, at times no. Like the monsters that were like outside when there's a bit where they're in the room and something's like sucking onto the glass. They're like, it's not gonna smash or whatever. That didn't look horrible. That looked on the same sort of level again as like some modern DC stuff. Yeah. But yeah, some of it every now and then, because like you said, it is all just downloaded off on online or whatever. Like it was just fucking free use 3D models of monsters. It was very inconsistent. Very.
So random. My favorite scene is when they're standing in the bar and they're all trying to work out what's going on. And Derek Miller is actually one of the main people in this. He's Matt Radio Stills. He's a scientist. You know, the scientist that was trying to warn everybody. He's like, I knew it was coming. I'm trying to warn you. That's
Derek Miller. Yeah.
So he stars in it. And they're all standing at the bar, and they've cut to this shot where everyone's in frame, and it's quite a far away shot. And he's sitting there like this with his hand up, and he's like, that's what we should do. And there was this random as like pause, and it stayed there for ages. I was like, this is so bizarre. He was like, I've been warning you.
Yeah, and you can tell he thinks he's a good actor as well. He was like an extra in something that I've seen, something that was like halfway decent. I was like, oh, he was in that. What was
Yeah.
that again? Transformers. Who's in Transformers? Who's in Scrubs?
Oh, there you go.
Uh, yeah, he's been like an extra in a few things here and there. But uh, really quick, speaking of actors and whatnot, if you look at Danielle Scott, she was the like head of the FBI or whatever the fuck.
Pamela Rousey.
Yes, Pamela Rousey. They've just put two blonde women together into one name. She is in a lot of the same shit that our old mate fucking Tyler James, or his fucking name was. The shit that he does. And you can
Yeah,
tell
right.
that like she was also in
Winnie
Full
the
Circle,
Pooh.
Winnie
Blood
the
and
Pooh,
Honey.
Blood and Honey. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
I
know
can't
who
remember
she
what
played.
she did in it. She's in so many things. And like this, again, they must just know her. She's like a vaguely attractive middle-aged woman. They must just throw her in everything.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm just looking at the pictures that they've picked. She's either in a bikini,
Yeah.
darker shades of summer. She's naked in the bed, and
Yeah.
yep.
Same with Jace Rivers, who was the was like a hillbilly sort of character, like the dirty guy. I remember him being like dirty. I can't remember what his fucking character was, but he's the same. He's in so many of these movies. So that there must be like a pocket of people who just pump out these fucking movies. And they just get the same people on every time. What are we doing next? Oh, we're doing this one next. Oh, we're doing next. We're doing that one next. Like,
I mean, if you and you got to make money somehow. It's like I can't imagine these are really long shoot days. They're like 1 or 2
no,
days, bang, away we go.
but they all think they're decent. Like, you can tell when you watch shows like Jurassic Shark 3, you can tell that no one there was an actor prior to that movie. Everyone there is just someone's friend. Whereas in this, they're actors with, careers in quotations, and they all think they're fucking decent and they're all horrible.
Do you know I was in Jurassic Park 3?
Right? Um, there was like a news reporter at one point. She got killed.
Yeah.
She was like on scene. She's like, "Oh, I'm here with the tornado." She was really good. She was the best actor in the whole thing, and she died in like 2 minutes. I was so
Yeah.
disappointed.
I was disappointed with the ending. I was like, how are you leaving this to an open ending for a sequel?
Yeah, it just
like,
ended.
You can't do that.
Of course they can, because it's perfect. Because if they want another one, they can make another one. If they don't want another one, no one's going to give a shit. It's like the perfect business strategy, and every film with a to be continued.
Yeah, I don't know. It had no resolution at all. Like
No,
you barely built to anything, but it was like, I wanted you to see how you're going to stop this tornado. I don't want to come back for a second film.
no, I'm not going to watch anything else but this. Oh, you know what? We might actually review the second one. Who knows?
It's like, all right, cool. But there wasn't like any plan to stop it. They just got outside and they were like, oh, there's a tornado.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to stop that? What are you going to do?
You can't. That's literally the thing. Like, how do you, the whole movie, they're like, it's not even, because some of it was just escaping, trying to survive. And that's fine. It's like Cloverfield. But some of it was like you said, there was this scientist guy who's, I called it. I told you it's going to happen. And he can't, like you said, what the fuck is he going to do about it? It's a tornado.
Yeah.
With monsters. Like, you can kill the monsters.
But it seemed like to be a ridiculous amount of monsters. Like, what are you going to do against a T-Rex, bro? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You got nothing.
Oh, no.
So it was.
There's this, like, I'm looking at my notes now. There's this, in some of the scenes, I think it's meant to be like, oh, ticking like a bomb. It's meant to be tense. But there was like this really high-pitched ticking noise in some of the scenes. It was really, really off-putting and like properly annoying. You notice that?
I don't know. The whole thing was just.
It didn't seem intentional. It wasn't like a good ticking sound. It was like a mistake ticking sound. Ticking sounds. The sound editing is horrible. You can hear, like, there are some scenes where they're talking back and forth, and one person speaks, and then when the other person speaks, you can hear they had to like increase the gain, and like you can hear so much more background noise when one person speaks to the next. And when the cinematography, because really the best thing of this is the cinematography, when the cinematography is kind of decent, it makes the sound editing so much more like obvious. I've said that a few times with a few different things. That's really this movie, like, because there are some moments of oh, that's not bad. It makes everything else so much more obvious and shit.
It was so bizarre, the whole thing.
They put her in like a really loud coat, the Pamela Rousey. And every time she moved, she was like talking one point, and every time she moved, you hear this like like rustling sounds of her jacket. Like, come on, think about it.
No, they didn't think about a lot of things. They just were like, "Yep, this is it." But
some people cared. It's the weirdest part.
I don't know. It was a no for me. This was like a one. It was just like,
yeah,
no,
of course
no.
it was going to be.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it'd be better. I thought I'd have more enjoyment. I just didn't enjoy it.
No,
Like
it's
it was
boring.
just
Even then, talking about it, the things you were talking about, I've forgotten. Like it's a
yeah,
very forgettable movie.
yeah.
It's
How are
not so
the
bad. It's good.
how are the sidekicks? Like the other cops, they were just there.
Oh, yeah,
They did
they just
nothing.
existed. Uh-huh.
I was like, oh, okay. I feel like
I don't know why they're even there, to be honest.
you only needed one
They
cop
didn't
there.
serve a purpose. Oftentimes, when did any of them die? Any of those two? Oftentimes, when
But
there's characters like that that are just nothing, they're there for like death fodder. But I don't think any of them even died from memory. Again, I've forgotten most of this.
yeah, I don't know. It's a no. It's a no. Avoid.
It's a no.
It's
I've seen movies way worse than this with way higher budgets. Like, I don't think that this, but it would have been better if it was worse,
yeah,
more or less as well.
yeah,
And like you said, this open-ended ending, like at least give me a story with a wrap up. Come on.
yeah.
No? Okay.
No, they did not.
Look, for
Ah,
me, it's 1.5 because I genuinely enjoyed some of the cinematography and the
okay.
lighting. Some of the lighting was really good. I think there's credit to be given. Probably a bit generous, but I think anything less than a 1.5 could be so bad it's good, and this is
Yeah.
nowhere near that.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to
Yeah,
because we couldn't see the boy in the heron, we had to obviously come up with something different. So we had three things for you, and Lawson has been very keen for this one. I feel like you've been very keen for this one.
yeah. Something
Yeah.
I heard decent things about, so I thought, I can give it a
Okay.
whirl.
Okay. You want to kick us off then? You want to do this one
Sure.
because this one is definitely a film up your alley.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. It's more for
Yeah.
me than for you, I think. That's why earlier when you said, "Oh, it's not good," I thought you were talking about this, and I was like, "Oh, wow, you really dislike that much?" But I shouldn't also be surprised. So this is Leave the World Behind. It is new to Netflix, directed by Sam Esmail. He doesn't have a big history, so this is pretty new in his catalog. Um, it is a family's getaway to a luxurious rental home takes an ominous turn when a cyber attack knocks out their devices and two strangers appear at their door. Yeah. So there are some actors in this we know. It's got what's his name? Oh, let me bring this. I should bring this up. Give me
Ethan
2
Hawke.
seconds. Yeah, Ethan
Hmm.
Hawke's in it.
I really
Ethan
like
Hawke,
Ethan Hawke. Julia
Kevin
Roberts.
Bacon, Julie Roberts. Yeah.
Uh,
Uh, what was
sh-
Mahashali Ali? Is that how you? Let me
I
look it
don't
up.
know,
Sorry, I should have a
but
second ago. Mahashali
as
Ali, Mahashallah Ali,
yep.
and Myhala, who I don't know, who played his daughter. So the story begins, and I'm sick of the cliche at this point, but a lot of movies down this path, mainly horrors and thrillers and suspense, are going down the road of, oh, they're in an Airbnb. That's how this begins. There's this woman, Julia Roberts, who is fed up with her day-to-day life in New York City. They go to Rhode Island for a holiday or for a weekend away, more or less, with her husband and two kids, and they go out, spend the day, going to the beach and tripping around town and whatnot. While they're at the beach, a huge big oil tanker, like a big cargo ship, drives directly into the beach. Which, by the way, why did no one move earlier? Like this thing's barreling towards you. Everyone just stands there looking at it, but whatever, tension and all that.
It also didn't get very
So
far up on the beach. Like it
yeah,
wasn't
thought it gone
super
further.
threatening.
But sand is like there's a reason that they use sand to stop trucks going down hills. So sand's really good at stopping fast things and the way that it disperses energy. So anyway, so yeah, they're on the beach. This oil tanker happens, and everyone's like, "Oh, what's going on?" We go back to the house, and they have no Wi-Fi. They have no phone, like data. They got no, basically all telecommunications are down. And all of a sudden, it's a knock at the door, and it is the owners of the house. Well, the owner, the father, and his daughter Ruth. And Julia Roberts, she's a bit of a racist in this. Like, she doesn't necessarily say it's because you're black that she doesn't trust them, but like, between the lines, her character doesn't trust these people because she doesn't believe that these two people could have a house like this, more or less, in the beginning anyway. So then, there's this whole like back and forth between Julia Roberts and Mahershala Ali's character, like trying to convince her that they are the owners and blah, 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 blah. They are in the end. So then, as the story goes, it's just them discovering more and more things aren't working, and it sort of puts us in their position of like, what the fuck is happening in the real world? And it's a nice, like, without going too much into, sort of the ending or whatever. I think this movie is told best through self-discovery, but I think, where this movie sort of heads. I'm getting myself confused.
I found it was building, so it built its suspense by you not knowing what's going on. So it drip fed you bits and pieces of information throughout. So you felt like you were in the family shoes throughout. So you always felt like G.H. Scott always knew more than what he was letting on. We got bits and pieces fed to us through either the TV screen or some scenes with G.H. Scott, where you got like planes crashing. So you got all bits and pieces that are crumbling the GPSs. You've got Ethan Hawke going out and exploring, and all of a sudden seeing a complete disaster. Also, how much money did this cost to have that many Teslas crash? Like,
like, I'm sure a lot of it would be in CG, but yeah,
like that's they're not cheap. They're like 80 grand a car. Like to have,
but Fast and Furious, like they wreck lots of cars. They make shells with empty. They wouldn't have batteries in them and that sort of stuff. There'd be a cheaper version of a car. It wouldn't be a real $80,000 Tesla. It'd be like a $10,000 mock-up. But you're right.
There was a lot. There was a lot of them.
There was.
So
what this does, what I was saying before, I guess, is I like that we're getting told an apocalypse story that isn't like in a big city with everyone freaking out and we're seeing buildings fall and whatever. This is like people being taken out of that world and put into their own little isolated chamber, and them like having to discover things together, which I really liked.
Yeah. I still would have thought there'd be a bit more like looting and like plundering and that sort of stuff. Like a little bit.
But I'm glad there wasn't, because that's like every apocalypse goes down that sort of path.
That's kind of human nature, though. When the rules go out the window,
for sure. Again, I'm glad that yes, it's human nature, but we don't need to see that side in every single depiction. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I liked that it was something a little different.
I quite liked how they built suspense, and it was like, oh, what's going to happen now? What's happening here? There was some moments where I was like, that doesn't make sense to what's happening. But I feel like this movie was trying to challenge your like reliance on the current status quo with like your internet, your access. Like the girl's got an obsession to Friends, like even throughout she's just obsessed with seeing the finale of Friends. And then all of a sudden it takes like a really I felt like it took a massive turn where they've like built up these suspense, and then all of a sudden the son started getting like sick for some reason. I don't want to say why.
Radiation.
Oh,
Oop, my
okay.
bad.
I didn't want to say why because I felt like the turn was like, oh, okay, he's getting this, and then their explanation was like, some people get it, but it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hmm. I feel like if
Yeah.
you're getting exposed to it, wouldn't you all like? How do you have resilience to it or whatever? I
One
was
point he
like,
says, "Oh,
okay,
I didn't block my ears straight away," but you do see other characters do the same. They don't block
yeah,
the ears straight away either. So yeah, look, I thought the same thing. It's convenience, but um, like you've said though, what this movie does really really well is sort of like show you a scene that's like confusing as fuck and being like, what has happened here? And then as the scene goes on, you learn, bits and pieces, things that are there, and then there's like a reveal. Like the scene at where he's going to visit his neighbor, and it's like this whole house is just destroyed. There's water fucking everywhere. There's one standing wall. And he goes to the beach, and I won't reveal anything, but like it's just little bits of information, and then all of a sudden you like something happens, and you instantly like, oh shit, that's what happened here. Same thing with the Teslas. Same thing sort of at the end with the reveal. Uh, that being said, let's move into spoiler territory. I will say, if you
before
haven't
we
seen
go there,
this,
though, the
please.
camera movements and the camera like shots are not your conventional style.
No.
Like it's really, really interesting to see how they like
Mm-hmm.
frame shots and how they transition. Like, yes, there's some cliche moments where like you go through a hole and then you transition out, but lots of it is just these really unique ways to move around to make you feel. It's like a extension of the Dutch angle to show the character's confusion.
Yeah.
That's what I felt
Yeah,
like.
definitely. For sure. Yeah, like you said, there's these like side on 90-degree shots where they look at the ground and they go off to the side, and it's really cool. Like the cinematography is one of the strongest points in this. Acting as well is really, really good.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah, do agree.
Act two, the whole like middle section of this, super engaging, super interesting. So yeah, if you haven't watched it and you want to watch it before we talk about more, because
Yeah,
it's best enjoyed fresh.
mm.
Say that much.
It's definitely worth a watch. Otherwise, you don't get enough out of it. Like if
Yep.
I watch this again, I'd be like, no, no, it's not
Yep.
worth.
Which leads straight into 3, 2, 1 spoilers. By the end of this, I was unsure if I liked it or not. Like I didn't end this with a like, oh, I really liked it. Even though I really liked a lot of it, when it ended, it's memorable. But did I actually enjoy the movie? I actually don't know. Still, I don't know.
Okay, okay. I hated the ending. I hated how they
Yes,
ended it,
exactly.
and it annoyed me. Like I felt dissatisfied with the ending. Like
Yes.
I enjoyed it up until they were there, and there was like explosions going off, and I was like, oh,
Hmm.
okay, okay,
Yeah. And
whatever.
like, I've written in my review that I don't know if there's any more information I needed to know. Like, I don't think there's any questions that went unanswered, but there wasn't necessarily a climax either. The movie was building and building and building, and we've said this before with other movies, and then at the end, it just sort of ends, and we're sort of left. I think I said this last week, week before, with a little bit of movie blue balls, where I just, I'm reaching climax, no, I'm the end. Okay. Oh, all right. Cool. Like, was that good or bad? Like, if I didn't reach climax, did I have a good time? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I was confused about. No, not confused. I was dissatisfied with the ending.
Yeah.
I didn't mind like the girl's obsession, which was bizarre. I also still don't know why she ran away. Like I can't remember
Yeah.
why.
I'm done
Like,
waiting, she says. I'm like, is she waiting? Does she literally mean for friends?
yeah,
Or is she mean because she has the whole thing about like, no one listens to me, no one cares about me. I'm just sort of here until I'm older. And, but at the same time, she's also this kid who's obsessing over a TV show. But her point is, it brings me happiness. So is it a bad thing? So
mm,
I don't know. Maybe there's more layers to it that I'll figure out over time. But like you've said, the ending left me wanting more, dissatisfied.
Yeah, it does try and challenge your like reliance on technology. Like all of a
Yeah,
sudden, it just crumbles. And there was that whole like bartering scene with the neighbor, which was Kevin Bacon,
Kevin Bacon. Yep, yep.
where he's like, "Oh, what do you got? I gotta like look out for my own." And then he's like,
Uh
"Well, I
huh.
have $1,000 cash." And he's like, "What do I need your cash for?" And he's like, "Well, with no electronics, his cash might be the only thing worth anything." That's kind of like if everything goes to hell, like the government put money or value on the money. So it was like, if it all goes to hell, will money actually have any value in
Yeah,
the end?
but it felt like in D&D when someone rolls a really high persuasion check, and yet at the same time their persuasions, their dialogue has been very non-persuasive, but they rolled high, so we have to roll with what the dice say. That's what it felt like, because the whole scene, it felt like Kim Bacon was going to blow their heads off and move on with his life. All of a
Yeah.
sudden, it gives them what they want and they leave.
Also, how'd they know that's what the medicine that he needed? Like,
I know. What was this medicine? Was it antibiotics? Was it just anti-radiation medicine? I don't understand how the medicine worked at all.
so I feel like you'd need a prescription for that. I don't think that's an over the counter. Like, oh, I'm suffering from radiation poisoning. Oh, we've got just what you need.
Yeah,
That that's some like hardcore drugs, surely. Like that's
I
not
know, but again, he was a doomsday prepper. He knew it was coming, so maybe
but
he
radiation
expected
poisoning.
radiation.
He was
I don't
like,
fucking know. Ask Kevin Bacon.
how's he going? We, the doc, I think there's a radiation thing coming. I need some radiation meds. And he was like, yeah, no worries, I got you. Like it was a prescription bottle. It was, I don't know.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I know it was super strange. Like that, I agree. It's like, oh, he's. I hate when movies and games do it too, where it's like, I need medicine, or here's some medicine. Oh, cool, I'll take that medicine. Like our bodies just need one medicine for everything.
It's like my fat Greek wedding or whatever it is, where it was like Windex. Windex solves everything. Spray some Windex on it. No,
I remember that. I think I've
no,
seen that.
yeah, well, that's a reference. So I
That's
don't
a
know.
reference.
I thought it was going to be aliens at one point. I was like, oh, this is going to be aliens.
Yeah,
And it wasn't. It wasn't. It was,
I thought it was going to be like nukes, nuclear warfare, and they'd blown up a bunch of shit, but they took out satellites, which is kind of cool.
hmm,
Something newish.
yeah. And it's just, the all of a sudden, old mate knew the three stages because he had a really rich client that was scared of these people who we
Yeah.
don't know. We don't know who it was. It was just very convenient
Again,
to be
it's
able to.
super convenient. Yeah, exactly. I know this information because I do. So
Also, there was
okay.
a weird like scene that was like Julia Roberts and GH, what's his name? GH
Mhm.
Scott, where they were dancing and stuff, and they were like,
Yeah,
I'm married. Ah, so am I. I
yeah,
love my wife. And I
yeah.
was like, are you two about to, like this is really bizarre. Like Julia
It
Roberts,
was.
Amanda and Clay seemed like they were fine together. Like they didn't seem any issues. Like it was,
No,
it was a
I found that
weird,
weird as well. And even like the whole scene with the dad and the daughter, not the dad and the daughter, Ruth,
yeah.
and whatever outside when he's like almost hitting on this young girl, and yeah,
Like
definitely a bit
it was,
unusual.
it was bizarre. It was just a little bit weird on where they've gone. But like overall, I enjoyed it until the ending. Where I
Yeah,
was like,
definitely.
this is enough weirdness that I'm confused, but also you give me enough information. It was like Evangelion Gelinar, whatever it's called, the anime.
Sure.
The one that's like the boy and the dad, and he has to do the big mechas.
No, I haven't seen all of
Evangelion.
them.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, yeah,
Evangelion I know, but I haven't actually
yeah.
seen all of it.
Okay, well, yeah. It felt like that, where it was like real confusing, but they feed you a little bit more information. Then the next scene, you confused again. It was like it's just
Sure. Okay.
repeat. So it was like I feel like it's a 3. Like I would recommend people watching this.
Same.
Hmm.
Yeah. I just fucking also the Tesla scene made me so mad where like she's driving. You know that Tesla's gonna be on the fucking road. Just get off of the road. And they're not gonna drive into you. Like, come on. Yeah, I mean like the same. I think I recommend this to people. I'll give it a 3.5. I think I think it deserves a better score than okay, because it's actually quite good at moments. The cinematography and acting is amazing. Really interesting storytelling. I really like the scenes where it's like three stories happening at once, and we get like one shot in one shot in the next, one shot in the next, and it's super, super tense. Tension's amazing. But you're right. The ending is what ruined it for me. I'm
Mhm.
not sure what I would have preferred, but it just left me wanting more. It didn't have
Yeah.
a climax and sort of what I was expecting. It's not because I want every movie to have a climax, but because this movie was building to something and then it didn't build and didn't end. But anyway, 3.5. What's next week?
Yep. Next week, hopefully, we'll be able to watch The Boy and the Heron. But we've also got Yu Yu Hashinu, which is one of the animes that's kicked off the big tournament fighting style. We also have Chicken Run 2, Dawn of the Nugget, and Leo is our backup if we cannot get The Boy and the Heron to be able to see it.
Maybe
So
Yellow Jackets.
maybe Yellow
We'll
Jackets,
see.
we don't know. So watch all those things. So get pumped for that. And what we do is ask that you tell your
Tell
friends.
your friends. Love yous.
Yes, please.